Hello, Sagittarius. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. For the main part of the read, Gilded Tarot Royale by Chiro Marchetti, text by Barbara Moore. At the bottom here is the website, llewellyn.com. There's a couple other social media links. Feel free to check out anything you might be interested in. Supportive Oracle cards. Energy Oracle cards by Sandra Ann Taylor. Websites. Here's like websites and a few other things she's done. Feel free to check those out if you're interested. On the back here is her picture and heyhouseradio.com if you're interested in any of that. Okay. Sagittarius. A lot of fire coming in. I think, well, let's get the last card over here. No, it's good. We're good. Okay. I was like, you got the tower coming in. I personally don't think the tower's always a bad thing. But I saw it and I was like, oh, let's not count those chickens before they're hatched. But I think we're good. The situation, how did it start? Seems like you used to be in more control than maybe you currently are. Three of Swords. Three of Swords and the High Priestess reversed. But you had the Queen of Cups at the same time. So, maybe other people made some bad decisions. There's something about bad decisions here. But when these other people made these decisions, that gave you an opportunity to thrive. Because somebody made bad decisions. And you, I don't know if you fixed it or it just opened a door for you. That maybe this is a part of the situation. There was some heartbreak with this, but it was very healing and very good for you. This may seem like an oxymoron. I understand that, but it's kind of like, especially with the dice being reversed. Well, you got High Priestess reversed and the Three of Swords. I'd say that you wouldn't like that, but with the Queen of Cups here, it's like, even though you didn't like it, it was really good for you. Really good for you. And it was very healing. It may be something after the moment passed, after a couple months, 2-3 months passed, you realize the energy was a lot better for you. For some of you, maybe it was like the ending of a job, maybe it ended abruptly, and it's like, well, that kind of sucked. But after a couple months of not doing that job and going into something else probably, you realize that that job is sucking the life out of your soul. It could be a friendship. Maybe there's a friendship that ended very abruptly and you were very upset about it at the time. But the further you got away from that, you realized that that friendship had a lot of toxic ties. And when it was all ripped from you, it was very painful. But after you kind of started healing from it, you started realizing that you felt better all around. And you realized, you know what, I don't want that back. Even if I could have it back, I don't want that back. Are we good? Okay, I'm good. All right, so new possibilities are coming in. There's an opening here. There's like an opening here. Whatever left, it left like there's an opening here. I keep getting there's an opening. So, and I'm really nervous with that with Sagittarius because you guys do a lot, and I feel like you guys get overwhelmed because you keep doing more and more and more and more. It seems like a Sagittarius cycle where you do way too much, and then you can't take it anymore, and then you have to downsize as much as possible. And things get to a point where they're very good, and maybe have some extra time, and then you start packing stuff into your extra time, and before you know it, you're back at this thing where you're doing way too much. You have to deconstruct everything and bring it down. And it seems like that's a Sagittarius cycle. You can let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. So we got the Devil card and the Four of Cups coming up. Things coming in, possibilities coming in, connections coming in. The question is, okay, so you're going to do this anyway. I'm not like, I hope it doesn't sound like I'm like pointing fingers or going, I'm not doing that. That's not what I'm saying. You have your way, you have to do what you have to do. If that's a natural cycle for Sagittarius, what happens, happens. But it's also about, if you're going to end up putting more stuff in your schedule, which is not bad, adding things in that you actually like, and then finding people to back you up when you need a break, that might be the thing. Something is coming in. Something you really want is coming in. You have a possibility coming in. It doesn't have to be a person. It may be an opportunity. Like, it could be like a business opportunity, or like, for example, if you're an artist, you're getting commissioned for something, somebody wants you to be a part of something like that. Ironically, I think you want it. I shouldn't say that's ironic. I feel like it's very alluring, because you got the Sun card coming in with the Two of Wands. It comes in fast. You got the Three of Wands with the carrying connections. You got the Two of Wands with the Sun card. Comes in very fast, and it's kind of like, I want it bad. I really want it. And for some of you, not all of you, there could be money coming in with it. When I see the pentacle with this one, is pentacle? Well, it's coin, pentacle, all the same. Something of high value to you at the very least. Could easily be money. Could be a connection with some situation. Could be an advancement. Something like that. It's high value to you, personally. So it doesn't have to be like money. Just something of high value to you. When this comes in, though, I feel like you're also immediately realizing you're going to be busier. How's that saying go? Busier than a one-legged man in a butt-kicking contest. I think I said that right. You're going to be very busy. If you choose to take it, you're like, I'm going to be up there busy, crazy busy again, busy. But it's very difficult to say no to, because it's like, but I really, really want it. It's not bad to say yes to something you want. It's also very good to already realize, like, this is going to overwhelm me. What can I do to make this work in my favor? And not be afraid to ask for it. For those of you this is going to work for, like the situation is going to work out for, I should say, it's acknowledging that right off the bat. I want it, I very much want it, but it's going to overwhelm me. Doesn't mean you have to give up. It means you got to think it out. It means call on, if you're having a hard time finding how can I make this work and not get overwhelmed, and you're looking at it like it's either take it and I get overwhelmed, or I don't take it and I'll have time to myself, I'll be more sane, but I'm gonna wish I had what I didn't get. And you're only seeing this like polar, like either yes or no. If you're having a hard time seeing a way for it to not be that way, call on your friends, relatives, co-workers, ask other people how they would balance it out. What would they do? How would they handle it? These are all reference. Some of the information is going to sound good, some of it's not. But you'll be able to devise a plan. You'll be able to like sort it out that way. This doesn't have to be a pass-fail situation, because I keep feeling like a lot of you will look at it like either take it and I drowned, or I leave it and I swim, but I'm bored and I didn't get what I wanted. It's not pass-fail. It doesn't have to be. Call on the people around you to work it out, to think it out, find other ways to do things. You have options here. I really do feel like you can have it and not be overwhelmed with it. It does take boundaries. I think of Sagittarius as good with boundaries in the sense of like, you can go 10 miles that way, 15 miles that way, 30 miles that way, and maybe 2 miles that way. This is your square. Just as long as you stay in your square, you're fine. And I think of Sagittarius kind of like, all right, as long as I can go anywhere in the square, there's so much room that I have more than enough leeway. That's good for Sagittarius. The boundaries you're going to need to adopt. adopt. Or kind of like, there's only certain times you're allowed to do certain things. So whatever this is, I feel like I have to be strict on when I start doing something and strict on when I stop doing something. So for example, maybe this is a situation where there's a meeting once a month. All right, so it's like, all right, so like I know it's going to be this 2-hour block on this day. So to get me into that mood, I'm going to block it out 2 hours before, 2 hours after, along with that. So 6 hours for that day. Boom, I'm doing that, and then I have to be strict with it, as if this is your job. Maybe it is. I don't. And then there's preparation time. You got to block out the times that you allow yourself to do it, but you have to be strict. Like when this moment happens, it's like I'm showing up for my job. I have to be there at this time, and then when the time is up, so like if it's going to be 3 hours on whatever day, I start at 6. I have to start as if I'm starting it. I have to be very strict with it. I have to start there, and then at 9 o'clock, boom, done. I have to shut it down, whether I'm done or not. I have to shut it down. I can't let it go over. If I'm halfway through doing it, I have to stop at that moment. I have to stop. You might need somebody actually who cares about you to back you up on that and to help you stick to that. It will be difficult to get used to, but once you're used to it, you'll have the rhythm down. You'll be okay. I feel like this could be an advantage to Sagittarius. So, for example, the start time, forcing yourself to start when you have to start, that, I don't know how you're going to do that other than you just got to force yourself to start when you start. But the shutdown time, for example, you have to stop at 9. If you have something else you have to do at 9, like maybe there's a phone call you have to be on, or you got to go somewhere with somebody, something that you physically have to do at that time, your end time, that could help you shut down at the correct time. Like, well, even if I'm not done, I have to go do that anyway, so I have to stop this, and I can't come back to it till whatever time. So I'm just going to jot down quick notes, let it go, and move to the next. You can do this. This can work for you. I do feel like you might need somebody as a support, or somebody like almost like a support group, almost like a Sagittarius support group. I don't know if that exists, but kind of like finding ways to like stick to certain boundaries that you're uncomfortable with to keep yourself from overwhelming yourself. It is doable. It is doable. That's what it would take to take this, keep this, and still have a healthy connection with it to where it doesn't overwhelm you. The longer you do it, the better it's going to be, the easier it'll be. I cringe at that. The more you get used to it, the more you're going to see the benefit of doing it that way, the more likely you're going to stick with it. There's going to be ebbs and flows. Sometimes it'll be easier, sometimes it'll be harder. But like the longer you do it, the more you see the benefit of it, the more you see how it actually keeps you from losing your mind and overwhelming yourself, the more likely you are to stick with it. It's like the start and end times. I feel like it seems simple, but I feel like it could be very difficult at the same time. If you're able to do this with this situation, by the way, you might start mirroring that with other situations that also cause you stress, and that might also bring about a lot of healing. This might make your life a lot easier. It's very weird because I feel like these stringent start and stop times will be very uncomfortable for you. But at the same time, it makes everything else easier. So it's kind of like it's a balance. It has its own balance. I mean, it'll make other things easy, but it's going to be hard to do at the same time. But the longer you do it, the more you're going to like it. But it's still going to be challenging more at other times. It's like, it's kind of like if you're, creating something, or it's like, it's going to feel like you're baking a cake and you just mixed in the eggs and you're like, but I don't want to stop. I just got this far. Like, I got to finish putting stuff in and I got to put it in the oven and I got to do all the, and you're like, well, I got to stop now. Now what do I do? Is it just going to be thrown out? It's ruined? Or can I put it in the fridge? I don't even know what that would do. I've never done that. So like you get to the part where you added in the eggs, you got the dry ingredients, you added in the eggs, but you're like, I got to stop. I don't want to stop because I'm halfway through this, creating this cake. I haven't even finished making the batter and I still want to bake it, and then I have to have it cool. Like there's so much more I want to do with this, but having that stringent time, like, I got to put it in the fridge and I got to come back to it later. And I really don't even know if that would work. I have no idea. I've never done that. But forcing yourself to do it, say you do come back to it and it's not usable for whatever reason. Maybe it's not. I don't know. It's learning like, all right, I have to budget this time better and not start things like I have to make sure that if I'm starting things, I have the correct time, and it's learning the hard way. More than likely, you could take it back out later. It's probably going to change some things, but you'll finish the cake and you'll maybe notice a difference that maybe you may or may not like. Like, all right, I did that. I had to put it away. It sat in the fridge for 3 days. Came back, finished putting it together, threw it in the oven. I had this result, which could be good or bad. You know, it will work. You can have your cake and sort of eat it too. I mean, you can still have what you want. It's just kind of like, how do you balance this out to where it doesn't drive you crazy in the way that you get burnout? It'll just drive you crazy within the restrictions. It's a different type of crazy, but maybe it's more palatable. Maybe. So I feel like that's what this reading is saying. What you really want, you totally can have it without it burning you out. It's just working with other people, talking with other people, how would they do it? And then the start and stop times, and like realizing you have to do that if you want to keep your sanity and actually not get burned out. And if you don't get burned out in this situation that you really want, you could probably keep it indefinitely. But if you take this situation and you don't do these things, and it's a general read, take it with a grain of salt, you'll only have it for so long because you'll burn out, and then you'll have to let go of things because you ended up getting burned out and you don't want to do it. That's part of the thing of getting burned out. You hit that point where you don't want to anymore. Just like, I burned myself out, I don't even want to look at it anymore. And then you had to let it go. Not because you didn't like it, but because you couldn't stand it anymore. If that makes sense. So hopefully this is a have your cake and eat it too situation in a good way. Hopefully. Alright, I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's james4astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.